Hello again, everybody. It's Scott Casper, Takedown Media. We continue our coverage and promotion of this year's 2014 NWCA All-Star Classic. One of those that'll be doing battle. He's been invited and accepted the invitation to wrestle Nick Gwiazdowski of NC State. Mike McMullan joins us now from Northwestern. Mike, welcome back. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. All-American again last year, taking third at heavyweight. You're not a dancing bear. We've come to the realization you are not a dancing bear. You are mean and a ferocious lion out there. You get after it, dude. It's wonderful to
Yeah,
watch. You like to push the pace, don't you?
yeah, because that's not the typical mindset of those dancing bears, as you alluded to earlier. So I'm trying to kind of get them out of their comfort zone a little bit by kind of fighting back and threatening a little bit with some speed, and some technique.
When you said dancing bear earlier in our pre-interview, I believe that perhaps in college I may have been a dancing bear. So I'm going to have to work on
I
it.
didn't mean to offend you. I
No, no,
apologize.
no. It's a sudden. It's like a sudden stop. Up, that was me, dancing bear. All right, last year you had a tremendous year, dude. There's guys you beat. You beat Tony Nelson, who was then ranked number one. You then went on to beat the next number one, Bobby Telford. Uh, Everybody that you face, man, you just absolutely wrestled and wrestled well. Northwestern obviously is awfully proud of you in your efforts and representing them this year as a senior, looking for Big Ten titles, NCAA championships. But before it all, we get to kick it off on November 1st at the Palestra in Philadelphia. First of all, have you ever wrestled at the Palestra?
Have I ever? Yeah, we go there every year for the Penn has a tournament called the Keystone Classic in late November,
Okay.
and then it's actually held in the Palestra. So I'm pretty familiar with the arena and definitely the area, being less than an hour away from downtown Philadelphia.
Well, you're originally from Easton, PA, and went to school at Wyoming Seminary. So, I mean, you've got to be familiar with quite a bit of Pennsylvania over your career, yeah.
Yeah, I've been venturing up and down the Delaware River, different areas of Pennsylvania, pretty much my whole life. So
Let's talk a little bit about your opponent, Nick Gwiazdowski. He's the one that ended up the eventual champion last year for NC State. There were some folks that were surprised, but ended up the way it did. I think Tony Nelson suffered some kind of a knee injury or an ankle injury that didn't allow him to compete to 100%, but nonetheless, a very powerful man, Nick Gwiazdowski. You faced him not once but twice last year, is that right?
I faced him once last year, and then we wrestled our freshman year at the NCAA tournament.
Talk to me a little bit about facing him and what his style is like. How do you see him on the mat?
It's kind of like you're wrestling yourself almost, because we're both guys who like to attack, like to generate offense, and don't stand around and wait for the guy to shoot in on our legs and hope that we can just kind of crush him with our ridiculous size. We're both kind of middle of the road, middleweight, heavyweights. So yeah, it's a little different, because I'm used to wrestling those guys who are big and slow, but matching up with a guy of similar stature to myself is different, and it's a good challenge.
So will you be doing certain things to prepare for this opening bout?
No, I mean, I'm not going to really change much. There's not much to do at this point. I've been around the block a few times, so I'm going to keep my training consistent to what's worked for me. And yeah, I'm just going to be confident in my abilities and end up on top. So
You are from what I understand, of a very good student. You're studying political science. Is that correct?
yeah, I'm actually enrolled in the Medill School of Journalism, and I'm doing a double major in journalism and political science.
And how's that going for you?
It's going well. I'm pretty much done with all my credits. Um, and yeah, just kind of, I got these next two quarters left, the fall and winter quarter, and then it's off to the real world.
Off to the real world. Yeah. Well, We get to keep you for one more year, so one more season. Mike McMullan is our guest. He's the heavyweight star for Northwestern, an outstanding young man. He's got an incredible record that he's working right now. He came into the deal as the nation's #1 ranked heavyweight recruit, if you recall, back in the class of 2010, according to our friends at Intermat. ASICS had you as selected to the All-American first team. You've really worked hard to get to where you are. Have you enjoyed the process? Is it still fun for you?
Yeah, I would say that. In high school, I was, kids get burnt out. I've been doing this for a long time, and I was pretty, upset and frustrated with the sport because, I've been doing it for such a long time. But, taking a little time off and a newer perspective and moving to a different weight class gave me a different approach and a new appreciation. And I've kind of ridden that from my senior year in high school to now and grown to really, enjoy and love what I'm doing. So I definitely doesn't get old, that's for sure.
So my question, I guess, that would remain as far as your career after college, do you have any desire at all for international competition?
I mean, I've never wrestled a freestyle match in my life, so I don't know how well I'd fare. So at least right now, the answer is probably not.
Well, let's not write it off. I think myself, Coach Periano, and the rest, I think we'd all like to see you continue representing. We're talking with a good guy, Mike McMullan. You can get tickets, by the way, to the All-Star Classic. Go to the allstarclassic.com or UPenn's website and box office. It's easy enough to do. Also, follow us on Twitter at hashtag NWCA Classic. It's easy enough to do. There's some great matches lined up already. Nishan Garrett, Joey Dance, Jack Deckow, Gabe Dean, Ian Miller, and James Green will tie it up at 57, and AJ Shop and Mason Beckman. Robert Kokish will go at 74 is my understanding. We'll see how that all irons out. We don't think we have an opponent for him yet, but the first heavyweights that were invited are the ones that accepted, Mike McMullan and Nick Gwizdowski. Is there a special target on his back? Do you want to beat him especially because he was an NCAA champ and he stands in your way of your goal?
I think that's, what everyone wants to do, to be the guy to take down the guy who's on top. And I just know for me, like I've beaten the guys who have been there, and it should be me. That is the #1 guy, in my opinion. So, yeah, I need to get this win to kind of use this as confidence and momentum going into March, knowing that I've already, beaten them earlier in the year, so I can beat them, when it counts.
All right, so let's pretend you're just going one-on-one with all the fans of wrestling in Pennsylvania, all those that know you from seminary, from your battles in state and around the area, when you're in high school as well. Talk to them. Let's pretend you have an open mic to give them an invitation to come see you wrestle. What do you want to tell them?
Don't hate me because I didn't go to Penn State. Got in-state people. It wasn't anything personal. I just, got a great opportunity to go to a good school at Northwestern. Watch some homegrown, old-fashioned Pennsylvania wrestling in a big boy body. Come down to the Palestra. We'll head over to Pat's Gino's after and get a good cheesesteak. It'll be a good time.
There's some talk that the heavyweight bout will be sponsored by either Pat's or Gino's. And those are the two competing restaurants, right? Pat's and Gino's?
Yeah, they're right across the street from each other.
Right. So, maybe we put those up as prizes.
Oh man!
What's your favorite? What's your favorite one?
Put me on the spot here.
Come on, dude. One is dipped, one's wet. So, which one do you like?
I think I'm gonna go with. I think I like Gino's more.
Yeah.
But it's so tough.
How about this? When it's over, I'll take you out for one of each. How about that?
That's what I've done that before, actually. If I go over there and I'm like, I don't know which one I want, I sit down at one, I eat my steak, I wait about 15 minutes, then I walk across the street and do it all over again.
And that's okay, man. They compete well, but I'm hoping that sponsorship comes through because I'd sure like to have a couple bites of one of those
Yeah.
two sandwiches, if not both. Mike, it's always good to talk to you. We want to make sure everybody comes out to see you and Nick. Get it going one more time. We'll kick off the season November 1st at the Palestra. It'll be a pleasure to watch you, pleasure to announce it, and I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too.
I am. Thanks a lot for having me on. Appreciate it.
Always good to talk to you. Our best to Coach Periano, your family, and the balance of the coaching staff there at Northwestern, your team as well. We'll look forward to seeing you in Philadelphia.
Thank you. Sounds good. I'll see you then.
Thanks, Mike. That's Mike McMullan. I'm Scott Casper. He's one half of the heavyweight matchup for the 2014 NWCA All-Star Classic.